The RICS have recently updated their APC candidate guides, which includes a series of important changes on how the APC word counts are being calculated. We have to remember that in the event that the word counts are exceeded, the RICS can reserve the right to cancel your final assessment interview. So these changes are of huge importance for all APC candidates to be aware of. The updates have also introduced an explicit ban on the use of generative AI for populating content within your summary of experience or case study. After the last 10 years of coaching APC candidates, I always place a big emphasis on them printing out and having a copy of the latest guide to hand, and keep referring back to this. So during this video, I'm going to explain everything candidates need to be aware of and what you need to do in order to remain compliant with the latest rule changes. The first aspect of the updates focuses all around the case study word counts and how these are being calculated. There is still the strict 3,000 word count in place on the APC case study, so this is not changed, but the RICS are now being much more prescriptive about how that word count is being calculated. The RICS have advised that they will be using Microsoft Word as the software package to check the word counts, so it's extremely important and very advisable for APC candidates to also use Microsoft Word to check their case study word count. The updates now also reference exactly which components of the case study are included and excluded within the word counts. And as we work down the case study structure, everything you write from the introduction down to the conclusion is included within the case study word count. This also includes any headings and subheadings that you've written within the main contents of your case study. Other elements of the case study, such as the table of contents, the confidentiality statement, the reference of the project title and the date of the project, are all excluded from the word count, so these do not count towards your overall 3,000 words. The appendices remains excluded from the case study word count, but again the RICS are now being much more prescriptive about how the appendices should be used. So Appendix A should be dedicated to the competencies that you have demonstrated, so this is Appendix A, and again this does not count towards the word count. That is just the table of the competencies that you've demonstrated. Any further appendices that you include, so for example Appendix B and C, should only be used to provide supplementary information that supports your case study contents. It should not include things like further commentary. It should only be used to include supplementary information such as graphs, plans, charts or photos. These are the only elements that should be included within your case study appendices. Any items referenced within your appendices should clearly be referenced within the main body of your case study, and these references, because they're written within the main body between the introduction and the conclusion, these references do count towards your overall word count total. And for anybody feeling really overwhelmed or daunted by the APC, I am offering my APC Mentorship Programme in the link below, and the whole idea behind this is just try to make the APC as stress-free as possible, just breaking everything down into manageable steps that you can follow along with each month. I'll give you the best advice that I can in there that's helped hundreds of candidates gain chartered status over the last 10 years. So every member receives a free copy of the Q&A study guide. This includes over 1,000 questions to help you prepare for your APC, in addition to successful examples of case studies and summary of experience that you can use in order to assist you with populating your own documentation. And in terms of the summary of experience word counts, the RICS are still enforcing strict word counts on these. The word count for the technical competencies within the summary of experience still remains at a total of 4,000 words. The word count for the mandatory competencies within the summary of experience again still remains at 1,500 words. However, again, the RICS have been much more prescriptive about how these word counts are being calculated. Again, they've advised that they will be using Microsoft Word as the software to check the word count totals. This is where it becomes extremely important for candidates to use the exact same software to make sure there are no discrepancies. And in terms of which elements of the summary of experience are included or excluded, titles of the competencies written in the left-hand column of the summary of experience are excluded from the word count total, as are the references to the level of competency that is being achieved. Again, this is in the left-hand side column of the summary of experience, and again, this remains excluded from the word count total. Any experience that you've listed within the right-hand side column is included within the word count, and this also includes any references or citations that you've included within the written body of your summary of experience. And to recap on this, the technical competencies have a word count limit of 4,000, whereas the mandatory competencies have a word count limit of 1,500. There is also a free diary template in the link below, which will allow you to track and record your day-to-day surveying experience for your APC diary. This is provided in Excel format, and it does also include a progress dashboard, and this dashboard will allow you to highlight any shortfalls in your experience. You can then work to address these shortfalls to ensure that you have an even spread of experience across your competencies, which is key to be successful when working towards your APC. So please do check that out if that's of interest. This is provided completely free of charge, and it's helped hundreds of candidates successfully gain chartered status over the last 10 years. Rules around the case study validity period have not changed within this version of the latest candidate guide. So this remains that any experience that you've achieved within your case study project must have taken place within the last 24 months prior to you submitting for your assessment. We must clearly reference the start and the end date within your case study to demonstrate that the experience is within the last 24 months. If the project is still ongoing, then the end date of the project can simply be omitted from the case study. There has also been new references added to the diary and logbook requirements. These are both still required under the APC, but again, the RICS are now being much more prescriptive around the differences between the diary and the logbook. The diary is simply used to capture your day-to-day surveying experience. There is a copy of an APC diary you can use in the link in the description below. So this simply records your day-to-day experience. It is not submitted as part of your overall submission documents to the RICS, whereas the logbook is populated by using your diary. So you will populate the number of days experience against the logbook in order to demonstrate that you've accrued sufficient days, and to confirm it is only the logbook that gets submitted as part of your submission documents to the RICS. If the logbook isn't included within this, then your submission is not valid. So it's so important to populate your logbook and include this within your submission. So to recap, the diary records your day-to-day surveying experience and is not submitted to the RICS, whereas the logbook is populated by using the diary, and the logbook is the only thing that you need to submit as part of your submission. My final thoughts on this is I remember only too well when I was writing up my own case study, my anxiety levels really increasing when I was trying to work out which elements were included within the word count and which were excluded. If you need any further clarification on this, please use the link below, which contains a checklist that you can simply work through in order to check your work against to remain compliant with these latest changes. I am also offering my APC Mentorship Programme, where I've helped hundreds of candidates gain chartered status over the last 10 years. If you're struggling with any aspect of your APC, please do check that out if that's of interest. Every member inside of the mentorship does also receive a free copy of the Q&A study guide that can be used to help support your revision. And now that we've covered off the word count changes, how do we go about writing up our case study to a really high standard? Well, for that, please check out this video.